Hello, Kathy Campbell.
Hello, Alex Cox.
How are you? Happy Fat Tuesday.
Woo! It's an
Do you
optimistic day.
Tuesday is. It's the optimistic day. Do you know what Fat Tuesday is, or did I just make a whole lot of nonsense?
I do know what Fat Tuesday is, mainly because I love to celebrate any holiday that is basically made for drinking. But do tell our listeners what Fat Tuesday is.
Well, one did not know. I guess people do drink. It's the day before the Catholic slash often Christian season of Lent, which this is oversimplifying it, but we're just supposed to hate ourselves for 4 weeks, and then it ends with Easter. This is when people are like, "What are you giving up for Lent?" That's what this is. And Fat Tuesday is the day before all of that starts. Ash Wednesday is tomorrow, and that's where you get ashes put on your head. So if you're listening to this on Friday and you're like, why were a lot of people's heads dirty? That's why. But to celebrate, people tend to overindulge today, but the reason for that isn't just because of like, yeah, the next 4 weeks are gonna suck. Typically bakers and a lot of restaurants would need to get rid of all of their sugar and lard and stuff. So paczki, which is this like Polish donut, but really it's just like a whole bunch of like fat and sugar all mushed together. Those are like prevalent across Chicago right now. And yeah, it's been a good day. Pizza's coming. I'm just woo! It's actually been a terrible day, which is why I'm so excited for pizza. Oh boy.
I'm sorry it's been a terrible day.
Oh, thank you. I don't know what that was. I wish there was like I'm not. What was it that you said? Vague posting, which is Facebook. It's not that. I just had a headache today and I was really tired, and it's probably that time of the month coming. So, and the weather is just crazy. So I'm not vague potting, or I don't want to be vague potting.
In happy news, my daughter completely nailed it at her dance competition this past weekend.
Yay!
She kicked so much ass.
Oh my gosh.
Her team... So there were 3 teams that competed. Her team specifically had 2 dances that took first place in both of the divisions against 2 other people. One of her dances took most entertaining, and she also got star dancer as that dance. And then the other one got judge's choice over the entire competition. So I think there were 33 performances or something, and all the judges chose that dance.
She is a fucking majestic dancer.
Heck yeah, she is. I was incredibly proud of her. She has been working so hard. The whole team has, and they just like blew us all away. Like we knew, when you watch, I mean, you don't know, but anyone listening or whatever, when you watch something that you created perform and just bring the house down, a little chunk of your heart is out running around in the world. And like, I was so incredibly proud of all of the girls that did this dance. They've been working so hard, and to see it pay off is really, really nice. And then they get to do it again this weekend as an exhibition before championships in April.
How did she get into dancing?
It started because 2 girls that I was on dance team with in high school started a dance studio in town. And so I offered to, hey, can I assist you in any way? And maybe we can barter for services. And so I take their photos and videos and I do their technical support and make sure their website and whatnot, all that good stuff. And Avi gets to dance. And she just kind of fell in love with it. And additionally, she's really, really good. Like, has that.
Well, fucking Majestic. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she's got something. She's got the passion and the talent, and she just loves dancing so much, but she loves it even more when she's performing. So anytime she performs anything, whether it's dancing or not, it just lights her up. She is an exhibitionist in that way, which is really great.
Is she an extrovert?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. It's hard because you only saw her a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And it was very overwhelming.
It was
and
very overwhelming. Yeah. Because if you she didn't really know you and didn't know what to expect, and all of these people, and it was so many people and so many waiting and all of that. But talk to Quinn. Quinn will let you know that she's her extroverted tendencies.
and just for context, this was when we were at PodCon and you were celebrating Avi's birthday, and I had to go do a dumb old meeting, but was able to stop by and give what I now consider to be an awesome card. That
the best card ever.
It was pretty great. But it was in this crowded restaurant and everybody was waiting. And so not an ideal situation for anybody to hang out, let alone meet new people.
Yeah.
And so I was like, here, I'm sorry, here. And then she was like, iTunes card. Like, I don't know. And then, so that's why I asked, because she gave off like the extrovert energy, or like the classic extrovert energy rather. And I'm like, you take after your mom.
It's true. It's so true. So yeah, I'm glad that even in that momentary, like minuscule meeting of her extroverted tendencies came out, because that is very much her personality. And she loves people. She definitely gets shy when it's overwhelming, but more so she gets shy if she doesn't know what to expect. She's always been she wants to know what the plan is. She needs to know what time she needs to be ready for something. She needs to know what is coming up on the next couple days. Her constant question to me is always, what's the next fun thing we're doing? Even though I've told her a million times, it doesn't matter. She wants to know. And when we start, I have a rule now that I won't tell more than a week in advance, unless it's somewhere that we're traveling for longer than an hour. Because it drives me crazy. Oh my gosh.
That I on the one hand, I was thinking, this must be it's like the constant, are we there yet?
Yes.
But on the other hand, I was absolutely that kid.
Right?
Not out of like excitement, more of like, okay, plan this out, need to get prepared. Yep. Like, which books should I have for this? You know, with the 4 other siblings, and it's like, I need to know what the situation is going to be so I can emotionally and physically prepare myself, especially like family gatherings and stuff. Yeah. And it was like, I'm still like that now, and just because I don't know. I was are we there yet?
Yes. No, and that is very much Avi. Usually with a positive side of things, but she definitely needs to know what is happening. And I wonder, I think part of it might stem from the fact that when she was young, there was so much up in the air.
Right.
Because we didn't know when daddy would be home, or we didn't know what was, like, all of these different things like going on. And so, and I mean, that's my personality too. So I'm sure part of it is just like a genetic component. But yeah, I mean, we have a calendar that we share, so that she has those on her phone, iPod Touch, fake phone, but still, so that she knows what is on the schedule, which is kind of nice.
Majestic fucking nerd. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she's a huge nerd. I love it.
Oh my god. So okay. It's taken a so this iPod Touch situation is making me very excited because as people may know, I was one of the spoiled jerks who had an iPhone in high school when it first came out, because not because so much that we were rich, but that's like all I wanted in the world, because it's a fucking iPhone. But before that, I got remember the iPod Touch came out like just a couple months after the iPhone. Yep. And I remember being like, it's like a Palm Pilot, but the best. And I tried so hard to get all of my family on digital calendars and see, like, look, it's so easy. And to this day, my mom keeps a freaking paper like book, like a ledger type thing.
Yep.
And she's like 55 years old. She was like born in the 60s, but like uses a phone, is all in on, like, has a job where she uses technology. But no, it all lives in this book. And so if she had this little book, no one else knew what was going on. And to this day, I never ever have any idea what the fuck is going on. and it also is an anxiety type thing because, as most people know, my family's just riddled. But both of us have things in common where we have this thing where there's a lot of health issues in family, and it's all kind of up in the air and stressful. But it's like, Mom, I need to know that you're at the dentist and not dead. Like, it's not
right.
that hard.
For that, in those cases, I always will use my Find My Friends, because we are friends with both my parents. I'm friends with them, so I can see where they are. If for some reason nobody answers.
Yeah, you'd think that my mom would have loved that in high school. No. She'd be like, "Where are you? What's going on?" Not because I was late, but I'm like, I told you, but you wrote it down in your calendar that you don't have with you. It's
yeah. No, my daughter, or my daughter, my mom, is finally, like, she does both. She has her paper calendar that she writes stuff in, but stuff goes into the digital calendar now too. But she didn't have her own email address outside of the school district one for a very long time. Like, she's only had it for the last handful of years. And that's mainly because we were like, hey, you're going to retire and then you won't have access to that email anymore.
Oh my God, that's actually very
yeah.
That's just such an on-brand, like, I don't want to say an old person thing, but an on-brand, like, oh yeah, that's right. I feel like I have gotten to be an old because I don't know how to do Instagram stories. I'm just kind of like taking cues from you and all of our friends. And
great Instagram stories. I don't know what you're talking about, but yes, continue on.
I mean, I don't even remember the last, like, it's weird because now it's almost like Instagram isn't a thing anymore. Like, it's two completely separate things. And my friends who are just even a couple years older never use stories, but all of their stuff is in, like the permanent feed or whatever.
Yeah. And
all of the folks who are my age or younger, it's all stories all the time. So it's like I'm using two different social networks. It's very strange.
It's true. I do use them for very, very different reasons. If I want something to show up in my time hop, I put it in the main feed. If I don't care, I put it in my stories. That's how I use it.
That's really good.
So it's very purposeful. And sometimes I'll put it in both, depending on the thing. And there's a very easy like add to post or share to post, I think, in the archive.
Yeah, they just added that.
Yeah, which is really, really cool.
I get both sides too of like, I never know what's going on with you from from the okay, that's the crotchety my friends in their 30s who don't see my Instagram stories, and then what? Okay, what's the voice? I like never know what's going on with you. I don't know what that. It was a mix of Valley
Wow, you can
Girl
like
and gay
totally be better than
teen.
that. I know you
Why?
can.
Your story. You never put stories. What do you even do with your life? Which is a verbatim thing, actually, though, that my sister said. So,
Wow.
but I mean, I use stories now. I'm trying to be more not that I don't like people's daily stuff. Like, no, not at all. Like, I truly try to make it like a little story, even if it's like 4 things. Like, look at my standy desk, boop boop boop, and or like if I visit a museum or
Yeah.
something, and then you can save. I didn't know about this feature until recently, but where you like save it as an event or something. I
Yeah,
don't
the
even
little
know.
buttons at the bottom, or I guess in the
Yeah.
middle between the bio and your feed. Yeah, I have some anytime I do something with Avi or the surrogate baby Jackson, who, oh my gosh, he's almost walking now.
Oh,
It's so cute. And he has a baby monkey dance, and I am seeing him at the end of the month again, and I'm very excited. But I digress. So anytime I have something that's like themed, or I want to like view back, so I have like all of my PodCon stories, adventures are in an event. And so those are all tagged. I don't do the good morning ones because those are fine to go away. But yeah. So it's just like if I want people to be able to see them again.
Yeah, I think it's very I like it a lot, and I almost wish it was featured more. I think
Yeah.
because it's almost like a little album. Like when Facebook albums were a thing. I know that they still are a thing, or are they a
Kinda.
thing? I
Yeah,
don't even
they're
know.
a
I'm not
thing.
on there. And I often I use Instagram less for in the moment things when I'm like traveling in a place. I don't want people to know, for example, PodCon. Like, I don't want to be like, yeah, look at all these people I'm hanging out with, like at this specific place, just because I don't, I don't know, and like getting people's consent and stuff like that that's just important to me. But now seeing that, and like you can add a little chunk later, like I was at this museum that I really like, and I just dumped a big old chunk in there. And I know some people find that to be bad etiquette, but I'm like, you can just swipe, motherfuckers. Like, don't just swipe, chill, mute me.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's true. Like, and that, I think that's the important part that takes it out of a performative place where like, what are your decisions that you're putting on? Are you putting it on for you? Like, do you make a post for you or your memories or something specifically that you want to share? Or are you making a post because your audience will like it?
And you know what? And I realize now that in terms of like memory and stuff, I don't think either is necessarily wrong. It's just what you are. I mean, it is gross if you're trying to do a performance that's like inauthentic or something. But I have a friend who we should put in the show notes. And he uses his real name, Henry Birdseye, but he's this amazing like talented programmer. But like he's also like just a goofy internet comedian type of thing, like back in the day of like Favord and that Hot Dogs Ladies guy and Lonely Sandwich. Like I actually knew his name is Ted Awesome on Twitter, and he basically does performative bits, like, and they're clearly fake, and he's clearly put himself in this situation to do something. But it still feels wholesome because it's like, this is like a fun bit. And but also like I have friends who arrange their breakfasts just the right way and like do the little latte art, and that makes them happy. And it's like, good for you. If the performance makes you happy, even if like looking back on it isn't necessarily, Am I making sense?
No, absolutely. And again, like, because that makes them happy to perform that way, I don't think that's
Right.
necessarily the performative. What I'm talking about specifically is someone that maybe goes only to this restaurant and only orders
Absolutely.
a drink that they don't drink because they do the best latte art for their Instagram feed, for their viewers,
Mm-hmm.
followers, whatever, and then doesn't drink it. Or spends,
That
2 hours arranging the perfect whatever to then move on and then away their drink or whatever. The pretending, I think, is the part that I personally have more of an issue with. But
that's
again,
actually a great word for it, because there's a difference between pretending and performing. Like,
yes.
performances don't necessarily need to be bad. And the thing I'm uh, automatically drawn to is always the, have you seen the Black Mirror episode Nosedive?
Not, I don't know. Which one is
It,
it?
oh, it's the one with like the dystopian future that we actually are hurtling towards, where you like rate everything, and she
Yes,
almost
and
does the
she
exact
like tried
thing.
to go to a
Yeah.
wedding and kept dropping and she couldn't rent a car because her rating was below
Yeah,
3 or
yeah.
whatever. Yes, that one I did see.
Okay. Man, if you Black Mirror isn't for a lot of folks. But if you really don't like the dystopian future stuff, but you enjoy science fiction in general, there's an episode, oh my gosh. The I don't even know if I want to. Yeah, no, just go to the episode San Junipero and watch it. Never
Okay, I
mind.
haven't seen
Take
that
away everything I said about science fiction. Just if you like good filmmaking or good television, just watch that episode. Or if you do like light sci-fi but don't want to see very upsetting things, the episode Nosedive is also great. Was written by oh gosh darn it, I don't remember her name. Rashida Jones. There we go. And it's one of the few that is actually written by women, so it makes me happy.
one. Nice. Yeah, so I Nosedive was the first one that I saw, the first Black Mirror episode that I saw. Um and I watched it and I did not understand the whole concept when I watched it. And I thought that Nosedive, like because anyone that hasn't seen anything for Black Mirror is they're basically mini, each episode is very different. It's in a different world almost.
They're
And
vignettes, really.
yeah. And so there's no continuing storyline. There's no like,
Or is there?
oh gosh, I can't even talk about it. Like, can't go there right now. Um
Sorry, go ahead.
so I was like, oh, this is so cool. And then the second one came on. I was just like, what is this? And so it was a
Nope.
very, very different world. And then I went back and watched the very first one with the pig. And I was just like,
Oh,
oh, okay. So
oh,
I still haven't
yeah.
seen San Junipero.
San Junipero. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Jubilee.
San Jubilee.
It is one of my favorite like things ever across. That includes music, movies, TV, art, human beings. Like, it's just so great.
Okay, fine. I'll watch it.
I love it. Yeah, it is it's beautiful. And it is in fact written by a man, and written by the same Charlie Booker, the same guy who wrote the pig episode. And if you've
Whoa.
seen Black Mirror, you know what I'm talking about. He writes most of the episodes, and I'm like, you beautiful, like, how what? But anyway, and if you watch it, I actually think that this is the one almost kid-friendly Black Mirror episode. Like, it's got the same
Oh.
like wholesomeness stuff. Maybe not like kid, but like 12 to, I don't know. Anyway, this man, this episode has been all over the place, but I feel like it's a good it's been like the best part of my day, and like
Oh,
celebratory
yay.
and nice.
Yay. I'm so glad. Because, yeah, it's been an interesting day for me as well. So I'm like, okay, this is good.
You doing all right?
Yeah, I gave a lot of blood on Friday to see if we can figure out what this anxiety is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
Any do you want to give any updates?
I don't have any updates.
Oh,
I
that's
haven't heard
oh, I'm
anything back,
sorry.
and it's driving me insane. Oh my gosh,
I mean, I can see you should always be the are we there yet kid when it comes to your health, really. So, yeah.
right. Yes, and so
Mhm.
the fact when they're like, "No, I don't know when we're gonna arrive," makes me a little bit
Ugh.
adds on to the anxiety. Um, because so yeah, basically my blood pressure remains super low, like
Mhm.
100 over 60, 100 over 70, but my heart rate is really high in the 90s. And
Mhm.
so it's just like, hey, this is probably not just hormonal anxiety. Let's see if we can
Mhm.
figure it out. And maybe it's just a vitamin D deficiency or something. And yeah.
Yeah. It's man, I am just I know that like I'm not like I know that it is a huge bummer and we've been talking offline about all this stuff and I just people have been like tweeting at me recently about how that they like that we talk about this and I'm like,
Good.
well, thank you. I don't know how to talk about anything else because like our brains and our bodies are so intertwined and I feel like unfortunately that's not how a lot of doctors in the medical field were trained, especially general practitioners.
Yeah.
And you just have to be such an advocate for yourself. And it's the one time where most people just can't. And
Yeah, it's so hard, and I'm very thankful that I'm able to um keep track of different emotions and feelings even when I'm in it for the most part, except for when it gets really 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 bad. Um but being able to track, and so I can present, so like when I had my appointment, I'm like, okay, look, this is what's going on. Once I stopped pumping, like it started getting worse, and like
Mhm.
it's not associated with my period because I haven't had my period since I stopped pumping, and like there doesn't seem to be any difference. I was keeping a food log and seeing if
Mhm.
maybe if I had caffeine, it like made it worse, and it really doesn't matter, and it's
Well,
pretty much been every morning. Like I wake up at 6 o'clock and I'm just like, my heart is racing and my brain won't stop, and I'm just like,
mhm.
and I'm getting 6 hours of sleep instead of my normal 8 to 10, and it's just like
Mhm. Yeah,
yeah,
that's like me getting like 3 hours of sleep. That 6 hours is not enough for most human beings,
yeah,
and I'm just so glad that I'm so glad that you know how to be an advocate for yourself,
yeah,
and I hope that you continue to reach out to me and other people
absolutely,
who have had experiences with this
yeah,
because this is my other like big beef is this might not be a mental illness related issue, but the side effects like you can have mental illness can be a side effect as well as a diagnosis. Like
right,
when you have pneumonia, like you can also have a sinus infection, and it is the words a side of or a side effect of
a symptom,
symptom. Thank you. Woo!
yes.
a symptom of the bigger problem.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make it any less valid. And ugh.
Right. Yeah. And I'm
Be-
so incredibly thankful for my doctor that was like, "Hey, we're going to do this and not just give you a medication." Like I have a medication that I can take that the end of it is LOL, and so it makes me lol. Um but the doctor was like, "Okay, so I'm going to give this to you cuz it will help, lower your heart rate, but it also could affect your blood pressure. And since your blood pressure is really low already, we want to make sure that you like take it where you can lay down and maybe let someone else know that you're taking it in case for some reason your heart decides to stop or something. I'm like, okay, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but I'm also so thankful for people that have like reached out to me privately and were like, hey, I'm feeling this too, you know, and that's part of the reason why am so I want to advocate for this and be so public with it. And I'm not afraid to talk about it with anybody because I'm in an okay place where I can talk about whatever to whoever. And so being able to turn it around and have somebody else come to me and talk to me about it too. Like, please, you know, reach out and I'm here to support you. My DMs are pretty much open all the time. So it's fine. Like, don't be an asshole. But otherwise, like if you need someone safe to talk to, like I'm here for the most part.
Don't worry. I'm not tearing up at all. Everything's fine. Oh boy. Same on my end, but as Kathy knows, sometimes I can't. I get so many messages and I love them all so much. But I often worry that I'm letting people. Man, this is a whole episode. Like, I got a lovely email. I get a lot of not emails, DMs. Maybe I do get emails, but I don't check it.
Okay, Gray.
And yeah, well, I've got a lot of inboxes. But there and you get paralyzed with all of these questions, but then I see how you're helping people and I see it, and it's not like a not wanting to be open because have people seen me on the internet like kind of woo. I even talked about the fact that I'm not wearing a bra right now, which is great. Nice. So see that I'm sharing even more. I'm recording at home. I'm so happy.
That's so exciting.
And just and I made a little makeshift standing desk. Anyway, see, I ramble because I am so self-conscious that I'm not helping folks. But thank you to everybody who like slips into those DMs. It makes me truly like, it means so much.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody.
Yeah, it's so true. I am so thankful because every so often I'm like, oh, nobody's paying attention.
Dude, so many people listen to this show. I mean, like, I don't. Sorry.
No, like, talk to me too. That's so sad.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if you are listening, thank you so much because, like, you know, this is this tiny little show, and I feel like it is just for us. And whenever someone's like, "This meant a lot," I'm like, "Oh God, melt into the floor with embarrassment, but also happiness."
Yes. Yeah, I know the exact same way. And I like this show is so it's so important to me in a way that's different than anything else that I do. And like I love you, Alex, and I want safe places as triggery as that is. Like, this is a safe place, and the fact that we can talk about, you know, whatever and let people listen, you know, because every so often I'm like, am I being that performative person? Like, look at me, I am performing my friendship on the internet. Because that's not what this is. That's not what I want to do. It's not. And so it's not. It's not what I'm doing.
I'm high right now. I'm wearing my David and Goliath survivor buff and hiding in it. So if my voice sounds muffled, it's because I'm having feelings, and I hide in things when I have feelings. Kathy Campbell, my pizza's here. So where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Mrs. Soup and KathyCampbell.com, which has links out to other less performative, or I guess more I don't know, other podcasts.
It's so relative.
Yes. Yeah. Other podcasts that I do, including the final episode of Sistercast that we recorded, is published. And links to my magical unicorn skills that I have available for purchase. And yeah. And what about you, Alex? Where can people find you and tell you how much they adore you?
What was that noise I made? I'm at Alex Cox on Twitter, spelled COX, not the other way, and also Alex Cox on Instagram if you want to see more of my cats.
Yes.
I'm hanging out there more than on Twitter because, Twitter.
Reasons. Yep.
Twitter. Like,
period.
When people ask me why, I'm like, because Twitter.
It's true. Yeah, when the whole Luke Perry stroke thing happened, I made this big Facebook post about it, and I was like, oh yeah, I should put it on Twitter too.
Luke Perry had a stroke?
Yeah, Luke Perry had a stroke and died.
Oh no.
And
oh my goodness.
Yeah, and I had a hard time with that.
Yeah. I bet a lot of people did.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, obvious. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, that was a very real possibility for Ryan.
Yeah.
Whew.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, I got to talk about how important it is to learn stroke symptoms. On Twitter, I have a thingy, so go to that. I should, pin it or something. But, yeah, stroke symptoms are important to know so that you can get it treated. Cha-ching! Yeah, and that's my end. So go enjoy your pizza, Alex. I love you.
You know what? You bring about such beautiful education and positivity from tragedy, and I love you, Kathy Campbell. Have a good night.